Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Octavian. It is great to be back once again. I was off for a little bit of a break over the weekend and such. Went down on a trip to Houston. It was very nice down there. Nice bit of a change from the cold weather up where I actually do live in Boston, Massachusetts. And it looks like we're going to be getting right into the match here, though. This is a high-level solo queue game featuring a few names that you may recognize. Gravity Keane playing the mid lane Vi over on the side of blue team. Going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. Xiao going to be facing off against Mongol Warrior and Memorize down in the bottom lane as Ezreal AD carry. And up in the top lane, playing the Rumble, Cali Trolls, with C9 solo in the jungle helping him out there. Gonna probably be sending a few ganks up that way. As enemy Flares chooses to head up the mid lane playing Hecarim mid, something we've been seeing a good amount more of ever since it was pulled out by Unicorns of Love, if I recall correctly, first in competitive play, fairly appropriately given their team name. And that's a lot of damage going into the Thresh there. Good use of the Callista passive. Choosing to get that one level 1 does mean that the Rend is not available. Gives some nice vision at least, though, as Xiao takes a big chunk there, and there's another proc onto Thresh, really making use of that W from Callista. Does apply extra magic damage whenever both of these soulbound targets auto-attack one another. Xiao gets nearly instantly bursted down, first blood, as Memorize and Mongol Warrior hit the level 2, flash forward, and with the Power Fist combined with the Callista passive that I kept mentioning, dealt so much damage. Xiao had nowhere left to go. Meanwhile, Keane on this mid lane, Vi is roaming to help out her jungler as Flares actually turns around onto Gaydol. He goes down incredibly low, the Ignite ticking on him, forces him to flash over the wall as Flares popping the Ghost to get out of there after the somewhat botched kill. He botched up the kill, but he didn't botch up the trade because it still went in his favor. He traded the Ghost and the Ignite for Flash, and a lot of pressure here on the map. That is the enemy jungler out of commission for a little while as Flares is getting ganked here. Mongol Warrior wasting no time on the map at all, is roaming to the mid lane, but Flares, despite the fact that he's nearly empty on mana, is nearly trading away into Mongol Warrior. One more minion auto attack follows him and brings him down. The hero caster minion coming up big for Flares' mid lane Hecarim. This mid lane, I feel like I'm casting two junglers fighting against each other, because that's what this really is. It's Hecarim and Vi who somehow got lost in the jungle and ended up in the mid lane and decided they would just fight each other over it. It's really confusing, but really interesting. I love these sorts of odd and just new picks in the highest level of play. I think it's a sign of really healthy gameplay right now in this particular patch, that we can see such variety everywhere across the board. Cali Trolls doing his best to keep the pressure on up in the top lane, but AK Sniper has been able to farm up pretty well. He's got a 5 CS lead, which really shouldn't be the case. Aurelia does power spike pretty well at levels 3 and 4, and of course, when that Trinity Force is completed, one of the most powerful spikes in the game for an Aurelia, and I would argue for really any champion. Aurelia becomes so incredibly massive once that Triforce is completed, as the hook lands onto Thresh, causes the Flay to push Mongol Warrior back as the hook from Thresh only hits a minion. He's forced to flash on out of there. The Rend popping onto both Xiao and all of those letters. That is his name from now on, because I'm not going to try and pronounce that. And Keane going in with the Vault Breaker, landing the armor-breaking passive twice during the fight. Does trade pretty well, but a lot of health was gained back during the W from Hecarim, and so he manages to trade basically evenly there, as Mongol Warrior and Memorize are going in once again. This time, though, there is a subterranean menace nearby, and Solo is going to help Xiao pick up the kill there. Gets Lantern on out, as Xiao going very low to the Rend from Memorize. Doesn't quite go down, and AK Sniper's teleport is kind of wasted there. If only he had been coming in a little bit swifter, might have been able to get something out of it, as Gaydol actually gets spotted out by the radar from Rek'Sai. That is unfortunate, as we had C9 solo just going around that corner at exactly the right time to be able to notice the potential counter gank from Gaydol's Xin Zhao. And because of that, Xiao and lots of letters were able to get on out of there in time. Flares turning around onto Keane, does charge up the speed. The longer you run, the more speed you get. The more speed you get, the more damage you do, because that is how Hecarim works, ladies and gents. And so since Flares actually ran past Keane, then turned around and dealt some damage, he managed to do a little bit of extra to Keane, but now he's nearly going down as Keane goes in with the ulti. He gets away with less than 100 hit points, and Solo and Gaydol are going at the 1v1 here. Gaydol winning it so far, but Flares, with next to no health and next to no mana, decides to come in to help anyways, and turns around the fight for his jungler. That is going to be Hecarim whirling around that giant spear of his and picking up another kill for himself. That is his second of the game. And we see Vi trying to compensate. Whoa, Memorize! Takes down lots of letters very, very quickly there. I'm not sure, maybe actually, I want to check. No, it looks like Rend is being maxed. That W proc from Mongol Warrior and Memorize did so much damage. I thought perhaps that the Kalista was maxing her W, was maxing the Sentinel, but no, looks like it's going to be the Rend maxed, and that's a lot more of a standard path to go. Memorize might be in some trouble here as the Hecarim ult comes right for him. There's the hook pulling enemy Flares back. Mongol Warrior trying to be the hero and save his AD carry, but he just doesn't have the ability to do so. His CC was not quite back up on rotation, so Flares is going to be able to pick himself up a third kill of the game. This roaming Hecarim is terrifying, and he looks to get another one. He's going to run past Mongol Warrior and send him back with the Stampede. Pull in from the Blitzcrank only brings him to his death, and Flares is doing his best to bait pack Xin Zhao, and it looks like he's going to be able to. Now he's on a rampage as Calitrolls turns around with the Equalizer up in top lane. He's overheated, but he doesn't really need to cast any more spells. He's gotten out all the damage he needs. Oh, good lord, AK Sniper nearly life-stealing through it. Just about still loses the fight. That's going to be the first kill of the game up in the top lane, where we've seen the least action in this incredibly action-packed match. My poor throat is being ripped to shreds. I haven't shoutcasted in 4 or 5 days, and that's a long break for me. I usually do one a day, so I'm not quite yet back into it. I hope, though, you guys are enjoying this match as much as I am. Flare's doing a little loop-de-loop around Keane, bringing him back into the minion wave, and this middle lane is solidly in favor of Flares right now. The CS certainly isn't, but Keane looking to turn it around with the flash. Q goes right into the ult and gets the shutdown. Calitrolls coming in with the teleport, gonna try and get some revenge for his fallen teammate, and 1 harpoon, 2 harpoons. He gets the kill. Calitrolls 8. Picking up his second kill of the game, 2-0-0. Guys doing pretty great out of the top lane. A little bit of a CS lead, but mainly just getting those kills, allowing him to start building into a Zhonya's Hourglass already. He's got the Seeker's Arm Guard, really good item choice against in Aurelia in lane. Going to be helping him out a lot, and that is a huge amount of damage from the flames right there. Roasting a barbecue on AK Sniper, who's forced to pop the ulti just for a little bit of sustain in lane. Calitrolls going into the overheat. One more tick is going to be enough. He's on a killing spree, and he's gotten that killing spree in just the last few minutes. Guy is suddenly breaking into this game as Memorize, dashing away with his passive, is not going to have enough mobility, even on Kalista, to be able to escape a Thresh and a Rek'Sai, as well as the dash forward of Zhao Wei Zhao, and that's going to be another kill going over to Red Team, who have 11 right now at 9 or 10 or so minutes into the match. This game starting to look grim for Blue. Still not over yet. Mongol Warrior and Memorize have been doing quite well in the bottom lane, but a lot of pressure has been sent down there from the rest of the team, probably in response to that. Speaking of Mongol Warrior, he actually traded and got Zhao Wei Zhao very, very low, as Red Team's going to pick up the first dragon of the game, first dragon for their team. Solo dashing back into his jungle wastes no time. That is one of the best things about, not Kalista, Rek'Sai. They're both very new champions. I apologize. One of the best things about Rek'Sai is that you get to roam around your own jungle very, very swiftly. Flares and lots of letters coming to the mid lane. There's the hook landing on the Keane. That is a death sentence, if ever I saw one. And Hecarim going to pick himself up the 5th kill of the game. This is an absolutely crushing performance right now coming out of enemy Flares. Mongol Warrior heading on home back to base, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break from all this fast-paced action and instead turn to some of the item builds and perhaps talk about those knocked against the wall. Calitrolls is going to be interrupting my potential break here as Gaydol chooses to engage on him in the Tribe Rush. but he's just going to turn around and walk right on out of there, tossing back an Electro Harpoon or two. He actually has no fear. He's coming in for some damage into AK Sniper because he knows that Flares roaming from the mid lane is going to be all the support he needs to maybe even dive under this tower. Ghost has been popped, and that is a double kill for Flares. He doesn't even care. He's going to run right back through the tower again. Actually, that brings him incredibly low. And Mongol Warrior has roamed all the way from the bottom lane. He's dodging and diving and ducking as best he can, but there is no way to dodge, duck, and dive away from a Blitzcrank ult when he's that close to you. And that's going to be a double kill for Mongol Warrior. That's going to translate into a lot of wards, most likely. Oh, here comes lots of letters. It tosses back the lantern, looking to toss out the hook as well. But there was a minion wave at the worst possible moment, and AK Sniper is here at a pretty bad time for Red Team as well. There's the box toss down to keep them from chasing. Exhaust used as well. AK Sniper is drawing out all the big cooldowns, including the Ezreal ult. The hook lands, and he is down, ladies and gents. That death animation from Aurelia, one of the most dramatic in the game, I'd have to say. All of her blades just spear into her, and that ward, is it just me or is that ward giant? Well, that's an interesting visual glitch as Mongol Warrior going forwards, throws out the hook, tries to get the combo there with Kalista, but I believe the flash away actually canceled the hook onto Zhao. No, the dash away, beautifully timed. Arcane shift from Zhao Wei Zhao, saving him from one of the longest hooks in existence. Flares is continuing to push up the mid lane, and one of those items that I did want to touch on earlier when I thought I had quiet, and I believe now I do actually have it, is the Blade of the Ruined Kings / Triforce build that we see Zhao Wei Zhao going for here. Keane looking to go in with his Q, doesn't actually quite connect, and the burst from Flares is just incredible. 2 Qs and an ult later, and Vi is instantly down to the ground. Now Flares turning his attention onto Kalista, gets rended, gets brought incredibly low, but Mongol Warrior, unlucky, hit by that hook from lots of letters, as Memorize, his support, and his mid laner both dying before his eyes, is forced to dash away as best he can, doesn't quite make it over the wall, but that's okay. Lots of letters doesn't have the support that he needs on that support to be able to actually translate that pressure into a kill, but they will be able to translate it into a tower down. Gaedal just about avoiding a hook there, as he actually chooses to go in anyways. I don't know about that decision. Solo and Flares have more than enough damage, and indeed tankiness, to be able to 3v1 dive the enemy jungler, especially considering that right now, Xin Zhao is 0-4 and 0, lots of letters, standing in the equalizer, is gonna hook Vi and hold Keane inside of it. Goes down in the end for his troubles, but Calitrolls gets a kill back, gets some revenge for his fallen friend, and continues to CS push up the mid lane, as Memorize deals with the push down in the bottom side of the map. And actually might deal with Zhao Wei Zhao here as well. Nice dodge away from the Q and the W. Trades pretty well, making good use of the Kalista passive, leaping in and around the minion wave. Then Zhao Wei Zhao has nowhere left to go. AK Sniper joining his AD carry, picks up a kill. And that's going to be a shutdown actually going over to AK Sniper. Going to be very, very helpful for him. The early laning phase not so eventful. Flares, beautiful dodge. Well, I don't know if I can really call it a dodge, but beautiful prediction or counter prediction or whatever you want to call that. Flares, knowing that Mongol Warrior would think he'd be walking and toss out the hook at an appropriate angle to predict his movement, simply doesn't move and ends up avoiding the hook that way. And then turns around. He's dealing some good damage onto Keane. He's forced to back off. Mongol Warrior and AK Sniper are both here, though. The hook from Thresh doesn't connect, but Flares doesn't care. He's on a rampage, and he is just not going down back here. His W providing him so much passive lifesteal. There we go. AK Sniper finally is the one to bring him down. Sorry, the shutdown goes to Xin Zhao. Rather, lots of letters. Gonna have to finish off AK Sniper. And Gaedal and Memorize, left alone to fend for the mid lane, are going to go on the aggressive, actually. Lots of letters, gets taken out by the Rend. Solo a little bit too late to save his support. Might be able to at least save his top laner. Actually, he's going to go aggressive with Kali. Memorize leaping as best he can, jumping about all over the place with that Kalista passive. Has dodged away from so much. Gets off of the equalizer. Has 100 hit points left. One more auto attack, one more spell. Anything that connects would kill him. But he's managed to create some distance. His Q giving him that leap he needed. One more Electro Harpoon finally lands. Calitrolls brings down the kill. And good lord, can we please have a break? Calitro's getting hooked back by Mongol Warrior. He goes down in the end. Keane, going too aggressive, gets taken out by Flares, who continues on with the aggression off to the side of the minimap here. Flares trying to chase after Mongol Warrior. And while Hecarim is fast, Blitzcrank is fast as well, but he's so squishy. This damage from Flares is insane. He's finished off the Triforce. He's got a Brutalizer on top of it, and he is brutalizing the enemy team. However, the tower proves too much for him. AK Sniper along with it brings down the Horsey, and that's going to be 14-5-4. 14-5-4 on Flares in the mid lane. Beautifully played so far. Dragon is back up. We'll have to see exactly where that fight goes. I'm pretty sure it's going to be falling in favor of Red Team, as they just have so much insane damage right now. They've hit a few pretty powerful item spikes. They've got that Zoni's Hourglass completed on Calitrolls' Rumble. They've got the Triforce, as I mentioned earlier. Pardon me. The Triforce, and now the Yumu's Ghostblade as well, completed on the side of Flares. Ooh, flash forward from Mongol, though, does land the hook onto Lots of Letters. Rek'Sai ult gonna be bringing him down closer to the fight, but not into it, as Lots of Letters gets healed, gets relic shielded. Can someone finally finish him off? So much was burned on the Thresh, they have nothing left to deal with Flares. And Zhao Zhao, double kill for the Horse, as a solo kill up in the top lane goes to Calitrolls. And without even a thought, Red Team picks up the Dragon on the other side of the map as well. Their jungler soloing that one out. Solo on Rek'Sai. Well, living up to his name and soloing out the Dragon. This game is, well, I said earlier that it was starting to look grim for Blue Team, and now it is certainly very much, definitively, looking very much grim for Blue Team. Mongol Warrior does land the hook as Flares dances around him in circles, but he really can't do very much with that hook, aside from lose about half his health for it, but he's going aggressive anyways. He really wants this kill. The shutdown could mean so much for Memorize. The Rend finally comes out, and Memorize does get the kill, but Solo is there to avenge his fallen comrade. There is no way out for Mongol Warrior. He is just delaying the inevitable. Actually, the Q doesn't quite land, and he's got more speed than Solo here, but Solo has a gap closer. And with a pair of tunnels, he wends his way over underneath the Blitzcrank and picks up a kill. Meanwhile, we have a bit more battle going on. Calitrolls picks up a kill onto Xin Zhao as Xin Zhao brings down the Thresh. There's the Zonias. That's the item spike I was talking about. Sitting a golden statue at the foot of a Path of Equalizer. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. And Rumble picks up another kill for it. An ace for his team. Calitrolls coming up big in this game. Not quite as big as Flares, who's 16-6 right now. Making tons of work happen across the map. You might call him a workhorse for his team. Haha! Zhao Zhao, split pushing down on the bottom side of the map. Memorize has just now, 19 minutes into the game, finished off the first major item. As Memorize actually does manage to get the kill there. Zhao Zhao overestimating himself a little bit. Takes a tower hit and, well, a hook from Mongol Warrior. And so that's going to be a kill going over to Memorize. Some more gold in his pocket's going to be very helpful for him. Kalista does scale quite well into the late game. With the Vi Xin Zhao, they have a very good single target lockdown comp. The only problem that I can point out with their comp in general is the lack of magic damage. And here comes Flares from the side, along with lots of letters. Keane has no way out of this one. Gaydol doesn't either! Calitrolls! There with the last bit of damage needed, and the relic shield from lots of letters will keep the friendly Hecarim alive, as AK Sniper bites off a lot more than he can chew. Equalizer coming down actually off to the side there. I don't know if Calitrolls is going to be able to make that one stick, though. Memorize and Mongol Warrior have created too much distance already, but maybe with the help of lots of letters and his giant wards off to the side, the hook pulling Calitrolls under the turret as the lantern pulls Calitrolls back out from under the turret. It's topsy-turvy down here in the bottom lane. Mongol Warrior taking a lot of damage from this full AP Rumble build, but Thresh goes down. Rumble just buying time with the Zonias. Actually, he has his scrap shield back up. He has the flame spitters. He does enough damage that Flares can take down the rest of his health. Keane coming in. Always the same story in this game. A little bit too late to the party and doesn't quite bring enough snacks. And so he just goes down in the end. And Solo split pushes up in the top lane because Red Team, despite the fact that even when Blue Team can get a somewhat even fight, can get a few kills back, can get shutdowns here, can get minor kills there, they still always have pressure somewhere else, because they only get that because red team isn't fielding all of their resources in one area, because Xiao Xiao is off farming the jungle, because Solo is off split pushing in the top lane. I mean, they're winning these fights even when they're 3v4, even when they're 4v5, and this is ringing very poorly for blue team. As Xiao Xiao uses his ult to continue on with the split push. Mongol Warrior getting tossed forward by Memorize, looking to get the kill onto Cali Trolls. He would be a very valuable shutdown if they could get it, but Rek'Sai has tunnels in the enemy jungle now, and Solo is coming in with that ulti, flashing underneath Memorize and sending him flying into the air. Mongol Warrior not even going to try and escape from this one. He probably wouldn't have been able to, even if he gave it some effort. And that's going to be C9 Solo. Godlike. An appropriate moniker, if I've ever heard one. AK Sniper getting charged at, and good lord, where did his health go? Where did his health even go? That is a very, very, very powerful Hecarim with a Zephyr, a Trinity Force, a Yumu's Ghost Blade. Good lord, Flares is doing damage. Solo going way too far under the tower here. They're getting a little bit cocky, maybe overestimating themselves a little bit, but I don't know. They don't even really need Solo at this point to put down this sort of pressure. They're pushing in onto the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Xiao Xiao dashing backwards has the tower focused onto him, but it doesn't really matter since Flares is melting through everyone. Lots of letters, tosses out a hook, but it doesn't quite connect, and that's going to be the turret going down to Cali Trolls, who continued to push while his friends decided to go and try and make a fight happen. AK Sniper, looking to grab something off the back of this, is just going to be giving up his life as Mongol Warrior gets tossed in there by the Callista ulti. Rend will slow Thresh down. He's trying to escape, but he might just be the sacrificial lamb for his team. Keane with his E will bring down that fight. Xiao Xiao saving his arcane shift because he knew he might get hooked. Does go down, but at least gives the double kill to Cali Trolls. Memorize, you do not want that fight. He looks low, but he is a powerhouse of damage right now. Cali Trolls going full damage on Rumble alongside a Trinity Force team. Try saying that time. That 2 times fast. We've got a Rek'Sai with one, we've got a Hecarim with one, we've got an Ezreal with one, all of them sporting that incredibly high damage yellow triangle that does tons and tons of work. There are tons of Trinity Forces in this game. There's one on the other side as well. Aurelia haven't completed that, but I fear it's far too little, far too late. Blue team doesn't really stand a ghost of a chance in this particular match. I'm sorry if you guys were rooting for them, but there are very few paths back into this game for blue team. They do have a decent pick comp, but as I was mentioning earlier, before I was interrupted, perhaps again here by Gaydol interrupting the dragon, picks it up, C9 Solo, not going to be able to solo out the dragon this time, gets joined by Gaydol, and Gaydol trades his life for an objective, which honestly is worth it for blue team at this point. Flares now pulling off a 1v3 in the bottom lane, drawing so much attention here. Mongol Warrior now is in a bad spot. He's caught out all alone. The Rek'Sai ult will bring Solo back down towards this fight as Cali Trolls drops the equalizer perfectly, cutting off both Keane and Memorize. Cali Trolls getting a well-deserved double kill there. Very, very nice red carpet laid out for them. And, well, they just didn't really want to cross it. That is one river they could not make it to the other side of. Cali Trolls Solo and Xiao Xiao pushing on the mid lane onto this exposed inhibitor next to their friend the Giant Ward. Still an unexplained visual bug. Don't know why that's particularly happening. AK Sniper soloing it out up in the top lane with Flares. I really don't think he has the potential to be able to hold on in this matchup. Yeah, there's the crit, and AK Sniper gets bursted way down. And he's going to go down in the end. But it doesn't really matter who won that fight, since Red Team has 3 members beating on an exposed Nexus. And that is the open heart of Blue Team, going to be taken out by Red. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Octavian. It has been wonderful casting for you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.